Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I'm the Serious Strategy Gamer and we are going to have a look at a new game today. So we are going to have a look at Naval Battle Simulator. This game is a little bit close to Rule the Waves in that you do control various ships throughout the period. It's a little bit more historical based, so it has a very heavy World War II focus. And if you look at the shipyards over here, you can see there's a lot of detailed simulation here in terms of these ships. So you can see there are various different ones. And we're not going to go into all the details of these, but yeah, it's going to be fun to toy around with that a little bit. I think it has a lot of promise. It has a lot of promise in ways that, Rule the Waves is a fabulous game. The ship design is amazing. Some of the battles are great. But what I always dislike a little bit about Rule the Waves is it doesn't really have that operational view. So you can't build task forces, you can't send them around. You're more or less dropped into random battles. And the campaign here has some promise of being a little bit more serious in that regard. And it also has a little bit closer historical focus on World War II. So, these are things that I really, really like. But for now, the campaign map is a little bit wobbly. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at a single battle over here. And I want to go for the Battle of the Bismarck Straits. So we're going to command the Germans over here. We're going to have the heavy cruiser Prinz Eugen. And we're going to have the battleship Bismarck. This is, of course, one of the historically very interesting battles, if we can say so. So, let's start over here. It's chilly, almost cannot see heaven. Heaven, okay. Sometimes it's translated a little bit weirdly. I think the developers are Polish, and sometimes it's just you've got these four friends in here, so I think it means the sky, but you know what? We're gonna see that. So let's start the mission over here, and you can immediately see that this is indeed a very serious game that does still have audio, even though I wanted no audio at all. Okay, so let's go down on that a little bit over here, but yeah, that's fine. So basically, we've got our two ships over here. You can see the battleship Bismarck down here. 4 sets of 2-gun turrets, and then we've got the Prinz Eugen over here. So these guys are over here, and let's pop up all of these screens over here. And you know what? This is the one that I like the most. So you've got the bridge where you can say, oh yeah, do go a little bit faster, do whatever. I think we can ask the Prinz Eugen, for example, here to go south, and that should be fine. Yeah, let's go that, and you can see it's going to turn south here to the direction of the blue one. And basically, yeah, there it goes. And I'm gonna, for now, ask the Bismarck here to actually be following Prinz Eugen. No, sorry, you should not fire on that. That's horribly wrong. You should be leading on Prinz Eugen in a line ahead. So yeah, you're just gonna try to follow that, and that's fine. There's going to be the main gun battery, there are going to be the secondary guns. I don't think we actually need the secondary guns. The main guns here should be fine, so let's not overflow that. But what I do like a lot is this up here. So this is the damage of the ships. And you can see there's a little bit of tilt to port, for example, here on the Bismarck, because it's turning in. So that's interesting dynamics over here. And you can basically see that the ships are built up in 3 categories over here. So basically you've got 3 decks. This is the upper deck where we've got our turrets. So these here are the main gun turrets. As you can see, then we've got the smaller secondary turrets here on the side. We've got a fire control set up here in the center, and that is reflected over here as well. Currently everything is effective and green, and that's nice to see. We've got sort of the middle deck where we've got some ammo hatches, so that would be somewhat terrible if these got hit. We've got a radio, we've got the chimney, and down here in the lower deck you can actually see we've got 3 engines which are driving propeller shafts, and that is driving the screw, and ultimately over here we've got a rudder. So I think that's kind of nice because it shows you just how much detail there is to the damage simulation to some of these ships, and you know what, I like that a lot. Nevertheless, for now that should be fine. We can have a look at Prinz Eugen maybe. Yeah, somewhat similar setup over here. Somewhat fewer secondary guns, I think, but all in all I think that should be alright. Yeah, of course, a lot different displacement. There's no water in the hull, everything is fine for now, we're not damaged at all. So that's pretty much fine. And yeah, we are sailing along over here. Let's dial up the speed here a little bit to see whether maybe we can find someone. Of course, you do have various different options here in regards to what's being shown or not. And there are a lot of different factors, as you would expect in sort of these serious naval games. What I do find a little bit lacking is the ability to scroll out, but you can at least scroll in and you can see these guys are sort of following each other, which I guess is nice. Right. So, yeah, let's dial up the time a little bit more, because at some point we are going to meet, of course, the English. That was historically not expected by the Germans. The Germans did not... Oh, there we go. Let's pause over here. The Germans did not expect battle at this time and at that point. And they... To them it was really a surprise battle. For the British much less so, because they had a little bit better radar. But nevertheless, they did historically, of course, realize pretty quickly what's going on. So, what is going on is we have got the battleship Hood over here, going in at 24 knots and at a distance about 36 nautical miles. So these guys are coming in over here. And as you can see, Prinz Eugen already has sort of its guns, its forward gun turrets here, to fire on the Hood, which is fine. So it's doing what we expect it to do. And you can see actually these guys over here are currently priming for fire on with armor penetration shells on the Hood, which I think is fine. We are going to ask these guys here to fire all of their guns together so that they're not shooting individually, but I think in salvos is going to be a little bit better. Might be a little bit nicer to do that early on with just separate gunfire here. You know what, let's keep it on separate just initially until you guys can get the range. How about Bismarck? You guys haven't really spotted them yet, which I guess is fine. What we're going to do here is we're going to ask Prinz Eugen to go a little bit more in this direction, so maybe it can bring its rear guns to bear as well. So without further ado, let's resume the game over here, and you can see there's that green little arrow that indicates that we have already locked our turrets here onto the Hood, and there's the first shells that is going through to the Hood. And this green little bar, as I read it, is basically the reload time of our guns over here. And this time it's actually a double shot here, so it's kind of interesting that they're doing that. And there come the rear turrets, so they are swinging into action now, which I guess is fine because you're shooting there and sort of shooting one turret after the other, so that's all nice and good. Bismarck still is a little bit oblivious. You haven't really acquired the target yet, so that's fine. For now it's only Prinz Eugen shooting, but I'm guessing... Can I get the logbook over here? Yeah, I'm guessing that there are probably not going to be any hits for now, so it's going to take a while here. Wind speed is very low, there's a lot of overcast, but yeah, you can hear all of these splashes, and you can see the firing down there. I'm going to turn down the volume here a little bit, because yeah, it's really not that nice. Right, but you can also see that there are a couple of shots coming in the other way. So Prinz Eugen is being shot at by the mighty Hood as well. So yeah, we'll need to see what is going to happen over here. There's no hit unless it's being locked over here in this little window over here. One thing I should say, I think I haven't said that yet, is that this is of course early alpha, so yeah, there's going to be a lot of changes over here. And I do hope that one of the changes will be that we can actually resize some of these screens, because the battle log is just going to show you the last 3 things that happened, and sometimes that's just a little bit too little, so yeah. What is Prinz Eugen doing over here though? Why are you going in this weird direction right now? Can I ask you to go that way, please? Yeah, you're coming in that way now. Okay, at least Bismarck is also opening, but we only have these turrets in place right now. Well, we could swing around completely as well. Is there any reason why we'd want to go in any particular direction? Well, I'm guessing since it's 4 PM or AM. It doesn't actually say. No, it's AM. So we'd be expecting the sun to come up this way. So yeah, I think Prinz Eugen should try to... Jesus, do go down south. Why can't you do that, please? I'm asking you to go south and present a full broadside over here. Also, it looks like Hood has switched targets to Bismarck, so it's now engaging Bismarck, which is not ideal, but still it's going to be able to hold against fire a lot better than Prinz Eugen. But for now there are no hits, and this is one of the curious things about these gun battles. It can take ages for them to score a hit, and then sometimes it's you know, extremely weird. Guys, what are you doing here? Is that... You're fine over here? Main guns were set to automatic. That's okay though. But why are you not doing as I tell you over here? Yeah, sometimes it's a little bit awkward. Machinery, yeah, you are not using smoke or anything. That's fine, you don't need to. Oh, and there is the Prince of Wales, so that also has come into play now. The question really now is, do we want to switch targets over here? And I think we do, so let's ask Prince Eugen here to engage the Prince of Wales, simply so that it is being engaged at all, and not, you know, free to... Ooh, Hood has been hit by an arm-penetrating shell from Bismarck, so that's good news, and I do like that. Okay, can I ask you guys here to engage Prince of Wales? With all your guns, please. And I think going this way should be fine. And there's another hit on Hood. And again, it's really awkward that they can't read that. But there's fire on the ship, which is very, very nice, because that does mean that these guys are truly taking on some damage. You can see some of these shells here do have various different sizes. So this is secondary battery fire that is coming in there. But yeah, there we go. Took off matches. Hood. Don't know why that was there, but... interesting. Okay, so there was a no penetration on the Hood. So probably a small hit. No, it was an armor penetrating 380mm hit there. So not sure why it didn't do anything for us. Could you stop doing these maneuvers? I'm asking you to do something very specific. There's an armor penetrating hit here from Prince Eugen, and that is a little bit irritating because I thought I'd ask you guys to stop doing this. You are engaging Prince of Wales. God damn it. Okay, but Bismarck is still firing on Hood. So there's a lot of fire coming towards Hood, and Hood has been damaged, but until now, no big magazine explosion or anything. So, yeah. At least we are starting to score some hits here, and it's a little bit more regular now. Also, all of our gun turrets are now in action, at least on the Prince Eugen, and also on the Bismarck. So far so good, and actually you're holding course one now, so that's nice. And some of these shots are now travelling to Prince of Wales. So that's still pretty good. You guys here, you're also engaging with all of your turrets. It's a little bit awkward that we're shooting, let's say, across over here, but all in all I think that's fine. I'm going to accelerate time here a little bit, because you guys are now getting how this works. And it is, again, interesting to see that, you know, some of these battles are going to take so long. Don't go all that way, please. Really not sure why they're doing it that way, but fine. Notice that we haven't scored anything on Prince of Wales yet, but it looks like Prince of Wales is also travelling in our direction, which is kind of nice because that does mean just a small hit over here, secondary guns. Probably doesn't do anything for us, and I do need to dial down on this here. Right, so yeah. Just a small hit here from secondary guns, but a lot of things are coming in now. So Prince of Wales has been hit. Hood has been hit, but no penetration as we can see. Prince Eugen, wait a minute, let's dial down here on the speed. And Bismarck is doing stupid things. Right, okay, so Prince Eugen has been hit, but there was no penetration, so we're not seeing really a lot of of different fire over here. But yeah, Bismarck, really awkward. But you are engaging Hood, and it does seem like we are scoring a lot of hits on them, so that is nice. Now the secondary guns are not going to do a lot, but they might score a lucky hit here exactly on the fire control, so just maybe that is going to be useful. Maybe it's going to start some fires on the deck. In World War II that wasn't that much of a thing, but still, we just might be lucky over here. Oh, I think do by the way notice that Bismarck is, that Prince Eugen is sending their secondary guns that way. No, you're still not engaging. No, wait a minute. That's you guys. You guys are engaging Prince of Wales, yeah. So you're using your secondary guns on the Hood, but your primary guns on the Prince of Wales. And I think that's actually fine, because that means that Hood is being blasted here by this small arms fire, basically, whereas yeah, the other guys are being engaged by larger caliber shells. Now, Historically, of course, the Germans didn't really seek this kind of fight. Why are you going that way? Let's go this way. Hood has been hit. Yeah, Hood is taking a lot of fire over here, which is nice of them. We haven't really taken any damage so far, so I can't really show you how that damage system works over here, which I'm completely fine for now, but I would hope that at some point we're going to see that in some more detail. And notice that Hood is still going pretty fast over here, so that is interesting. 24 knots. So even though it's definitely taking on water, it's not doing as much as we might have hoped. Guys, stop doing this stupid stuff. Okay, yeah, I don't want you to do that automatically. We're gonna send Bismarck here on a parallel course. We're gonna send you guys here a little bit faster, slower, so that maybe the Bismarck is gonna be in front after all. So that might make some sense. It's probably gonna shield them from our fire for a second over here, but I think that's gonna be alright. Okay, Bismarck is actually the rear turrets here of Bismarck are... Yeah, you know, this is early alpha, and I just don't know why our guys are not listening to us. I just don't. It just doesn't make any sense to me. Yeah, you can see them drifting over here. Hood has been hit again, so there's more fire yet over there, which is definitely good for us, and we are lucky in that we are not taking a lot of damage over here. But yeah, if we accelerate that, that's probably going to change. As you can see, there's a lot of fire now coming to the Prinz Eugen specifically. So yeah, nevertheless, even Prince of Wales is still being engaged over here, and you know what? I think this is fantastic in the way that Prinz Eugen being hit. Yeah, no serious damage for now. You guys are going a little bit faster, 30 knots, whereas Prinz Eugen is falling behind now, so that is nice to see. But yeah, we could also use our secondary guns here of Prinz Eugen on the Prince of Wales. No. Prince of Wales, please. There we go. Right, so yeah, now you should be sending all of your fire that way, whereas Bismarck is sending all of their fire onto the Hood. Well, that's nice. At least we are engaging them with full broadsides now. So are they, of course. We're not going to be able to cross the T or anything over here, so basically cut them off and force them to do that, because they're just... It's so few ships that it's going to be difficult. But what I do see is that the Hood is starting to slow down over here, so probably we did damage their engine rooms at least, which is definitely nice to see. Whether or not it is going to be enough to sink them entirely, I do not know. But yeah, for now that's just the way it is. It would be really nice to resize these things, but it's not. Oh, notice how Hood is turning in towards us now. So that definitely does present a nice chance here, because it's going relatively slow, right? And we are at a very short distance over here. So actually I think we might be doing a lot of raking fire over here now. So that's nice to see. And I do think that they're going to have some problems here, because if they are starting to get so slow, I don't think it's by choice. Right, okay, Bismarck, maybe you can slow down a little bit so that ultimately Prinz Eugen can fall behind you. That might be nice. Hit in the main turret over there on the Hood, I think, so that's definitely nice to see. Yeah, the Hood is just being plastered now. Even Prince of Wales is still taking a lot of fire here. But yeah, I think Hood is... Well, it's not necessarily done for, and we don't have any destroyers or anything that could do torpedo launches, which are of course in the game. Also submarines are in the game, which is honestly one of the problems with the campaign, because it's just no fun. By the way, notice how much they are smoking over here. So either they are on fire, or they are doing deliberate smoke laying to obscure maybe the Prince of Wales. And that might mean, oh, there goes the first hit on us, or at least the first that I can see. So Bismarck over here has been damaged, and these two things here have been taken out. And there's actually fires raging on the on the port side here of the Bismarck, and some of the secondary guns are out of action. So this turret in particular is probably destroyed. Interesting. How about Prinz Eugen? Are you still doing good? Yeah, Prinz Eugen is still doing fine. And I think that the Hood has been Yeah, pretty much blasted over here. Oh, and notice how we have lost track of the Prince of Wales now because of all of the smoke that the hood is laying over here in the short term. And you're now striking the hood though, so yeah, it's kind of nice that we are now seeing that. I think we can go south directly over here. And yeah, there is the Prince of Wales. It's re-emerging. So what I want to do then is ask these guys here to start firing on the Prince of Wales. So the Bismarck is going to switch fire now onto the Prince of Wales, and that's going to be alright. Let's go this way. There's a lot of fire coming the Bismarck's way, but I think it's okay. And Prince Eugen, with their slightly weaker guns, are going to try to hit the hood, but the hood is obscured by its own smoke now as it's turning into towards that circle. So pretty much all of the fire is now going to rain down on the Prince of Wales. So yeah, that's good for us, and I think that's pretty much fine. Right, I would honestly like you guys to start following the Bismarck over here. Let's see whether we can do that. Right, whereas you are firing here on the Prince of Wales, so I'm going to accelerate time here a little bit as all of this fire is being traded. And it does remind me a little bit of one of the older 3D games that has been around. I think it was Battle of Jutland or something. Obviously a World War I game. But it was interesting to have these long-ranging battles, and just imagine at the time people were in these battles for hours at the time sometimes, and you know, death could come very suddenly in a magazine explosion or something. So I do find that quite interesting in how Prince of Wales starting to lose some speed over here, and I think trying to turn away from us. So that's also nice. Yeah, but you had these situations where for hours you would just have that rolling thunder of enemy fire, which was just basically around, and you couldn't do much about it except fire yourself, and basically you had hit rates of 1 or 2%, so it could take basically forever to score a hit, and when you did, there might be these magazine explosions that basically ripped apart any ship, which of course is what happened historically at the Battle of the Denmark Strait, even though we're not really seeing that in this little Let's Play here. Of course it could. If if fire reached any of these things over there, that might be very much dramatically bad. Notice how we have lost sight of these guys now. So basically they were starting to smoke over there as well. I think that was due to... Hood might actually have a damaged rudder over here, is what I'm thinking. You guys, are you still trying to do that on the Bismarck? Okay, Hood is being hit now again from Bismarck. That's fine. Okay, you can go on the Hood. We have a lot of armor penetrating shells still, so I think that's fine. Yeah, but we did lose it again. So yeah, they are now being obscured by smoke over here. So and notice how we've extinguished the fire here on the far side. Still, there's a lot of fire ranging here on the secondary turrets, which we are trying to extinguish. But yeah, I think for now that's alright. I don't get the controls of this game sometimes. Okay, the Prince Eugen is trying to fall back in. We're going to accelerate time here by a lot, simply because I think we can, and I do want to make sure that we are starting to look at these guys here a little bit more closely. No tilt or anything, it's just a fire, so we're not taking on any water. We could of course do, and that's kind of interesting, if there was a hit down here, let's say, and we were taking on water, we could do some counter flooding by trying to get on the other side basically, and prevent any big tilt or anything, so prevent the ship from capsizing. Notice how these guys are trying to withdraw, whereas these guys here I think are still in that damaged rudder situation, and might be doing a lot worse than that. So let's try to come in a little bit and see whether we come here. Right, I'm going to accelerate time here further because I'm not sure whether we are going to catch them at all, or whether that is going to be something that is just not going to happen. Okay, there's Hood again. So we are starting to fire at them, but only briefly. So yeah, I suppose that's okay. Let's go on automatic fire over here because I would like you to shoot as soon as possible. We are probably smoking a little bit as well, creating some smoke, which is not going to be great for Prince Eugen over here. But yeah, what can we do? Right, speaking of the Prince, yeah, you are following the Bismarck now. Can you try to do that a little bit more consistently, though? That would be fantastic. Right, let's try to come not too close, because I am slightly concerned about that. Oh, notice the slight tilt over here. Probably as the wind is picking up? No. Don't know why, but yeah. Visibility really just isn't great in the rain and the mist and the fog. So, yeah, there's Hood though. Short little hit over there, but nothing too serious. Yeah, it's appearing every now and then, and you can see it's still around. You can also see these guys are still around, so I'm almost tempted to drive through here though. So this is not something the Germans would have done, because historically their ships were way too valuable for them to risk doing that in such a fashion. But nevertheless, it's going to be interesting to see if we are going to take some more damage over here. And I want to show you the damage model a little bit more actually. But yeah, historically this would be a great success here for the Germans. Basically no damage here on any important system. So that's great. But yeah, we are very close here to enemy ships, which we can't see for now. I think the smoke model is potentially a little bit too strong. But yeah, you can see them showing up every now and then for a second. And we're landing a hit there, but not with the main caliber guns. So yeah, that's slightly unfortunate, but I guess it's just the way it is. Right. And I'm going to accelerate it further, and then we're probably going to disengage, as the Germans would have historically done at this point. Because they've basically mission killed the enemy and didn't want to be mission killed themselves, because their main objective of course was commercial raiding. So yeah, oh, there is the Prince of Wales, which has been hit now a couple of times by Eugen, but yeah, let's not overdo that. That did lose Eugen. That did cause Eugen to lose formation, but that is all right, I suppose. Yeah, we're gonna try to do a last pass here on the Hood. Oh, Prince of Wales is exchanging some fire there actually. Didn't hit Hood, so that Eugen, so that's nice. Yeah, and Bismarck is still around, but I want you to probably go a little bit slower. Yeah, let's go 2/3 speed. I think that's fine. So let's go away from the emergency speed over here. And you know what? Let's actually go parallel. Oh, now you're doing what I wanted to do. Well, that's fine. Okay, let's accelerate time here. I think we're going to disengage and see what the battle is going to do. So I think there is no specific time when that ends, but Prince of Wales just being hit there again. Bismarck, what are you doing? Go there. That's fine. Yeah, so very superficial damage here on the Bismarck. I think no damage here on the Prince Eugen. It was a lot harder fought, I have to say, in the first battle, but that's the nature of naval warfare in the age of gunnery. You know, some lucky hits here on the Hood did probably cause it to lose efficiency very early on, and that's just when they started losing efficiency, and they didn't really score any significant hits over here. Only Bismarck has basically been damaged at all. So yeah, let's see whether we can end the battle over here. Well, I think as long as enemies are considered close, that's just not something that happens. Prince of Wales being hit there again. These guys might be sinking from progressive flooding, but we just don't know. So yeah, I suppose that's alright. You know what, let's go full speed over here. I don't want to last here too long in this battle. Let's just disengage here. Right, I think you can go this way. There's Hood, a couple of further hits as we are departing. Actually 380mm hits there, so that's nice. Taking on water. Minor damage, but a serious hole in the hull, which might cause it to flood still. So yeah, I think that's going to be nice if we are going to get that type of win over here. But let's see. So enemies are still close to the east. That's okay. Prince of Wales trying to disengage over there. Yeah, if of course we had any destroyers or something, we would definitely be trying to pin them in now. But for now, that just doesn't seem what we can do over here. Right. I suppose that's going to go away as soon as we leave that range, right? Otherwise, I would like to... There's Hood, departing with one last shot. It's actually interesting that they can still shoot, even through their own smoke, basically. Right, okay, let's exit the battle over here and see what had happened. And to do get these little post-action reports, So we were driving through over here. We were being hit here at these points. But you can see that Hood was being basically completely engaged over here, and as they are turning in, they were being obliterated basically there. And Prince of Wales is starting in this fashion. They're coming in sort of parallel, and they're being hit yet again quite a couple of times here, and then a couple of times as they are disengaging. Lots of statistics, let's look at them. So we basically were kind of accurate here with Bismarck and Eugen at 10% and 15% on the main guns respectively. So that's nice. You can see Bismarck was a lot more effective in penetrating the armor of the enemy. So at 73% here of our shells did go through. So that's nice. Yeah, 43 out of 59. That was a lot less for Prince Eugen. Still, I think it did a lot of damage here by some heavy explosive shells or something. So yeah, that's nice. On the other hand, Hood was extremely ineffective, so they fired 162 shots. They didn't hit at all. That was very different in my first play here. And Prince of Wales did score some hits, but it was really negligent, and it was really, really low actually. So that does leave us with very little damage to our ships. I think basically only Bismarck did suffer some damage here. Turret 4, so secondary guns, turret 4 was destroyed. That's okay. But more interestingly, let's look at Hood. So the fire control is, yeah, see, that's what I expected. The fire control is destroyed. So at some point we must have hit that. And I think it was very early on where we basically took out their fire control. So that's interesting to see. And then the bow turrets were basically obliterated as well, destroyed here very early on. And even the stern turret here was damaged. So not taken entirely out, at 78% still workable. But yeah, the turret 4 here completely destroyed in the stern, so that's interesting to see. We didn't ever penetrate their armor rack, so it didn't explode, but still, basically all of their engines are completely destroyed over here, and their steering. So yeah, basically Hood is a wreck at this point. I don't think she's gonna survive the day by that thing. So we can see all of the hits here, which I think is always very interesting. By the way, oh yeah, 64% of water in the hull, so that's kind of bad. There's a bit of tilt going to the bow, I think, but mostly to the left actually, so to the port side here. 6.3%, that's starting to look serious. And then yeah, you can see all of these damages here that were scored by, well, I think mostly the penetration here was achieved by the Bismarck here. A little bit of blast damage still, but yeah. And some secondary guns here, not too bad. Prince of Wales also had their firing control destroyed, so that was another lucky hit, and that does explain why they basically had this negligible aim here. So yeah, that's was really lucky for us actually. So yeah, nice. Most of the turrets destroyed, well actually all of them, so yeah, that's nice. So we could have completely raked them, but secondary guns, still a couple of them are ready, so I guess. But yeah, no ammo explosion, drive units all destroyed. So yeah, I think these ships are going down. And interestingly enough here, it was actually Prince Eugen which did the most heavy lifting. Although, yeah, there was quite a bit of damage here being scored by the Bismarck as well. Yeah, actually it was probably the Bismarck here which did more damage. 60,000 points. So, that being it, I think this is an interesting game. It does have some promise. The campaign seems a little bit unpolished for now. But yeah. I hope you guys enjoyed. Do let me know what you think of the game and whether you want it to be featured in the future on this channel. Bye bye guys.